Mercedes F1 team still holds the second place in the 2023 Formula 1 Championship, but their season is underwhelming to say the least. Every upgrade looks promising and they even had some good results. Still, it looks like they will end this season winless and they might even lose second place to struggling Ferrari. There are people out there who think next year will be different with a whole new car, the W15. I highly doubt it. It's been the same story for 2 seasons now, and here are 5 reasons why I think Mercedes will be mid next year. 5. Toto Wolff. The time has come that even the most loyal Mercedes fans have started pointing at the team principal and CEO of Mercedes, Toto Wolff. Wolff became a highly successful team principal and entrepreneur during the dominant years of Mercedes between 2014 and 2020. He received a lot of praise for those triumphant days, but was that actually his doing? He did allow the Silver War to go on for years when Rosberg and Hamilton kept fighting each other, and if the competition had been more fierce those days, it would have cost them dearly. Every season they had some really poor races, with comical errors ranging from wrong tires being fitted for Russell in Sakir, or a 48-hour pit stop for Valtteri Bottas. We also have some pitiful behavior from him towards other team bosses, and he has lost his cool many times. And then at times, when Netflix is filming, he acts up the place with staged scenes, telling Russell he had the seat for instance, or telling the world every team has a target on their backs. The problem with Mercedes is that they can't quietly improve and work on things because the British media is obsessed with them and basically wants them to be dominant again. I'm not surprised Wolff is failing, as his success was all because of the groundwork other people like Ross Brawn had done. Brawn chose to leave what he built because he didn't like the fact that people bought shares of Mercedes, as that changes people's perspectives and the hierarchy within the organization. It will be interesting to see what happens to Toto Pumpernickel Wolff when there's a third year without a victory. Nobody has immunity and he might end up with a target on his back. 4. Staff problems. In recent years, quite a substantial number of respected people have left the Mercedes team. None of them seem to have left the organization on bad terms, but I still think it's quite telling. I doubt that people leave a job that they love with a lot of prospects. Maybe that's the problem. They assessed the situation and decided to step away. So far, Mike Elliott, design chief Aldo Costa, engine boss Andy Cowell, and strategist James Vowles have left. All those men were there when Mercedes was breaking records. James Vowles is really shining at Williams now. I have a lot of respect for how he goes about his business, and I'd say Toto Wolff can learn a thing or two from him. Mike Elliott's problems started when he took over the job James Allison had. Allison stepped away from F1 after his wife fell ill and died. A few years later, James Allison came back and swapped positions with Mike Elliott, who now has decided to leave. Toto Wolff saying that Elliott is ready for other adventures is a typical corporate euphemism, especially seeing Mike Elliott hasn't spoken about it yet. Andy Cowell has left Mercedes to work for Red Bull Powertrains. That's quite something, isn't it? The Red Bull and AlphaTauri cars are run with engines from the Red Bull powertrains, but with help from Honda still. In 2026, the engines will get an overhaul and he might just be the man to run that, seeing how successful the Mercedes V6 engine was that he worked on. All in all, not a good look for Mercedes to lose these important people. I think it says a lot how much trust these people have for Mercedes in the future. 3. The W15. Mercedes started the 2022 ground effect regulations with a lot of confidence. Before testing, stories came out, probably leaked by Toto Wolff himself, that the sim data showed they were a second and a half quicker than the rest of the grid. However, that never showed on track. The data didn't correlate at all. Then there was the bouncing that bothered them so much a TD had to be written out, and even that didn't help them. After 2022, Lewis Hamilton was glad to see the back of the W13. Now that is something he says about the 2023 car too. The W14 hasn't won a race and its behavior is as temperamental as #blessed statements about it. 1 week the upgrades are fantastic and the floor is amazing, and after Brazil the car was shite and the floor doesn't work at all. Lewis Hamilton says he's counting the days until the W14 is gone. Right. So all hope is focused on the W15, just like it was on the 2 previous cars. I think that there will be a slight improvement again, but it won't be a title contender. I feel Mercedes still hasn't fully understood the subtleties of the ground effect yet, and that makes the car so different from race to race. Especially with 6 sprint weekends on the program, a wrong setup is easily done and the effects will be felt all weekend. Mercedes would be wise not to hype up the coming season too much, because I already see the focus of Team LH cult leaders on Twitter shifting their focus from hating Max and Red Bull to Mercedes itself. Do I enjoy seeing that? Yes. Does the team that gave their drivers 6 titles deserve that? Also yes. 2. Lineup. Mercedes has a very solid and strong lineup. Both George Russell and Lewis Hamilton are 2 very talented drivers with a strong mentality. They are pretty level and they've both beaten each other one season now. The fact that they are pretty level in skill causes them to be on the same part of the track a lot. This has caused friction between the two. Russell is always very diplomatic in his ways to get a favourable strategy, but as of late he's not getting his way. I can totally see those two going at it in a race where they can win next season and basically ruin each other's chances. This has already happened somewhat in Singapore, where Verstappen was off the pace and Russell didn't want to give up his position and then crashed. Also, don't forget that Hamilton is getting older and the season is not getting any easier. More races, more sprints, more time in the sim. This will no doubt take a toll on Hamilton, who will be 39 years old next season. George Russell has always been patient during the years he was at Williams, and this season you can see he's waiting for his chance to shine. The question is, will he be this polite and patient next season? Or will those two start another silver war? If you made it this far, you must be enjoying this video. So here's 3 seconds to leave a like and subscribe. We're almost at 1k subscribers now. 1. The competition. It's all well and good that Mercedes is hopeful their car will be good, but there are 9 other teams on the grid. Red Bull has been the benchmark for a while now, but some of the other teams have shown great promise too. Aston Martin came out blasting this season, hit a few snags and then came back again. McLaren started very poorly and then became the second best team. Ferrari has been Ferrari, so poor reliability, bad strategy and a wishy-washy car at times cost them a lot of points. However, they are the only team to have scored a win besides Red Bull though. They are currently only 20 points behind Mercedes, so P2 in the standings is still a possibility. With the plateau those teams have hit in their development and then overcame, my prediction is that they will all come out of testing very strong next season, where the podiums will be shared between them all. If you can take in account all the previous points I mentioned in this video, the chances are that Mercedes will be fighting AlphaTauri and Alpine more than McLaren and Ferrari. It will be very interesting to see how the Mercedes team will cope with a 3rd year of catching up and no wins. The media will have a field day roasting the team, no doubt. I predict it will be great for me to follow as a content creator, but also for you as an F1 fan. Take care now. Doei doei!